Day 100, I'm still fighting this cold. Well, not actually day 100. It only feels like day 100. But it's been a long time. It's been over a week fighting it. I seem to be winning. And I did get an opportunity today to check my seeds right here. Some of them, folks, are germinating seeds in plastic bags. Keep them in a warm area. Doesn't need to be in the sun necessarily, but they're doing well. Um, I'm hanging in there, folks. Nice little tea I got with me. And I'm making a chicken soup right now. Good evening, morning, gardener. Good evening to you as well. Thank you. And so what I'm doing is I'm making a chicken noodle. Well, I haven't added the noodles yet, but I've added lots of garlic in it and carrots and celery and onions and things of that nature. That's all I felt like. The good thing about chicken noodle soup is they swear it will comfort you and make you feel better when you have a cold. Well, we're going to see. We're going to see. All in all, I'm here. I went to my. Hey, how you doing, now? I haven't seen you in a long time. I was thinking that with the government shutdown, it was affecting everyone, but I didn't know who and which ones weren't. Hey, man. Yep. Hello, hello. Yep. They just shortened it as Hey Lead. This is really great. This is a very good green tea. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Green tea is I can say it's one of my favorites. But I am looking for my tomatoes are coming on good. Like I said, I'm starting from seed. They're doing excellent. Excellent, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say I got close to 100% germination from the seeds in my greenhouse. The peppers, have anyone ever noticed that peppers germinate slower? Anyone at all? Mm. But I love growing peppers. Oh, and I did add some peppers to my peppers too. You're right. Thank you very much. Because I just thought it was the way I was going about it, but no, peppers take longer. Let's see, my peppers take longer than my tomatoes. They plant brand every year. You're gonna love it. Okay, okay. Peppers struggle to grow here in Florida. Peppers struggle. Seem to struggle everywhere because they're struggling here as well in Maryland. My peppers seem to grow fast here. Okay, a lead farmer says that his peppers grow. Basically his peppers grow great. My peppers are doing slow, but they're there. Oh, it's too hot for it. Okay, I'm ready to start other seeds because I get the tomatoes up and going. Then I'll pot them off in their separate pot. And once I get them potted off, I'm going to start things like kale and cabbage. No, excuse me, not cabbage. Collard greens. My peppers, my stars. Okay. Morning, Mr. Radio. Yeah, but the watermelon not gonna start till a little bit later. Watermelon. I'm gonna do two varieties. Excuse me. Always grow more than what you need because if you have some die, you have a way to have extra plants. Always grow extra. My tomato plants are about 10 per uh, type. So I got 10 of the purple Cherokee and 10 of the brandy wine. And so that's what I'm doing. I do it every year. Let's see. I have tons of sugar baby watermelons started. Wow, you got sugar babies. Oh, that's a great melon. That's a great melon, lead farmer. That's a great melon. Sugar baby. And you live in a location where you could just probably throw them out the door on the ground and they'll start growing. But here, you got to coddle them and baby them because of the temperatures. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. A lot of gardeners slash farmers tuned in. Soil that is heavy clay. Does anyone have heavy clay soil? And if so, what are you going to do about it this year? Or does it affect you at all? Oh, okay. Are you starting them indoors? The sugar babies? Lee Farmer, do you start your sugar babies outdoors or just indoors? Yes, indoors. Okay, you're gonna start yours indoors. I usually put three to each pot. That's what I do. Lead farmer, you are definitely a lead farmer because that's exactly idea what I would do. I would dig out the clay and I would fill it the planting area with an amended soil. You know, compost is a great choice. Now, are you mixing the compost and the native soil together, or are you just doing all compost? Oh, okay. You use raised beds, and I mix I mix it all together. Perfect, perfect. Because when you do that, the plants don't grow up and go through an initial shock of going from compost right into native soil. Did that before, not all that pretty. More compost than clay. Yep. Now I do a 50. Well, depends on the soil itself, but I usually do 50-50 mix. But you're doing a 75. 25 mix, which I think is absolutely great. Absolutely great. Now, along with the, because one soil mix that I've been working on is peat moss, uh, perlite, compost, and you mix some of the native soil in. Um, I use the peat moss so that I can, hold more water, depending on what's growing in that hole. If it's watermelon, I want it to hold a little bit more water. Very good job, Lee Farmer. Very good job. Very good job. Oh yeah. I know that this is a very popular crop, but do you think, talking to the room now, would you be doing any cucumbers this year? He, he said it's a given. It's a given. Cucumbers. I think I'm gonna work on start saving seeds once I find a good variety. Because I'm buying mine from the box store, and I found a variety now that's pretty good, but I gotta look and check and see if it's a hybrid. Because if it is a hybrid, you know how that goes. Okay, I just checked it. It was on some kind of auto mute or something. But thank you for letting me know. Now, Lee Farmer just said so. Lee Farmer, let me ask you a question, and also the room. What's the largest, as far as weight, do you think your sugar babies got up to? I got some that were, I want to say, maybe 6 pounds, maybe. And by the way, I understand why they gave it the name Sugar Baby because it is so sweet. 5 pounds. Okay, that's decent. That's decent. What did you think of the flavor? Super sweet. Beautiful. Now tell me, isn't it hard to share that melon? Isn't it hard to share as good as that melon is, that Sugar Baby? Sugar Baby's that good. There's another one I grow called Crimson. Okay, that's why you grow tons of them. Now, do you grow them on a hill or just flat ground? Or leaf farmer? Oh, okay. I want some more tea. Yep, you telling them right, Lee. From there's something about growing them in. I try them in containers. I like them in the ground better. Their roots go out and search for food, and you keep them watered. Um, and they call them watermelons for a reason. You could also try mulching them to make certain that they stay moist around the plant, so that you don't have a problem with them drying out. Because there's nothing like cutting into a melon that you made spongy because you didn't water it properly. Thank you for the thumbs up, good people. A leaf farmer, have you ever tried using any manures? Mm, mm, mm. Yep. Mm, okay. So he does use it. Okay. Hello, how you doing? I'm going to show you guys something I did. You've already seen, but I'm going to show you how well they're doing. Just hold on. Kiwi plants. And also there's a watermelon, excuse me, not a watermelon, but there's a grapevine in here. And these kiwi are doing great. There's also some roots on some of them. Let's see if we can get that in there. It was kind of hard to see, but they're roots. And only thing I'm going to use from these, it's a number of kiwi that grew out, and I'm not going to use but two of them. There's about 10 here. hmm And they did quite well. I'm just looking at them because they're beautiful. Yes, it's a viney plant. This one here is a smaller variety. It's called Isaiah, and it grows a small uh, piece of fruit that's a little bigger than a grape, and it has a lot of vitamin C in it, lots of it. Some claim that it has 8 times more than an orange. Um, it is a plant that can be grown all the way down to zone 4, and this one here is all the way up to zone 7 and 4. So I love this plant. I put it in the ground some years ago. And it's another reason. Sometimes the cats are very attracted to this plant. Why that is, I have no idea, but they are. I don't know if they're related to grapes. I can't make that claim, but I do know that they grow very fast. Um, if you have a plant growing, they better pruned in the summer, and you could leave this plant, come back in a week. There'll be pieces of plant that's grown 6 feet, and that is a lot of growth. And they tend to well, they're designed the way they are, the way they produce and everything. They need to be on a trellis that can hold upwards to 100 pounds of fruit because at maturity they can produce up to 100 pounds of fruit. So you don't need to put them on anything flimsy and then have to change it out later. So I love this plant. Every year it produces fruit, and it's still young. It's in the ground. It's young, but I need two more so that I'll have 300 pounds of fruit. If it gets to that point. And I think that once I get it all set up, uh, I like to have kiwi, and then the cuttings from it, you could actually turn that into something because people want to grow kiwi too. And these are grown, as I said earlier, these are grown just from cuttings taken in the dead of winter. You could probably take them different times of year, of course, but these are taken in the dead of winter. They were just sticks. I had nothing better to do that day. I went out and I started taking cuttings, and I put these in water, and they started doing this, and I was happy with them. And we've had the temperatures down to 6 degrees this year, and the plants are doing fine. So that's how that works. Um, I started out with grapes, and then I wanted the kiwi because of the health benefits, and also it's a great looking plant when it's growing. It's a great looking plant. You hear a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a great looking plant," but this one here, it doesn't have problems with disease. It doesn't have problems with insects, and it is a fast grower. I tell you that again because it is. It will do its thing if you don't keep it in check. And I've been keeping it in check for 3 years now since it's been growing, and it's doing quite well. And the plants every year put on these beautiful white blossoms, and then comes the fruit. And then in the fall, you get your kiwi. And if you leave them up on there too long, they just start dropping on their own. You make preservatives out of them, juices out of them, liquors out of them. Eat them, hand by hand table type of uh, fruit where you can just, eat them. Just pop them in your mouth. They have no fur on them. They just and this year I found there was another variety of kiwi called hardy kiwi, and Home Depot was carrying it. Surprised the heck out of me. You've had kiwi jelly. What did you think of the kiwi jelly? It was pretty tasty. Um, Kiwi jelly. I'm glad someone had an experience with kiwis because it's a wonderful thing, kiwi. It is 20 degrees, well, 35 degrees outside today. My kiwi plant out there is fine. Just doing its thing. Well, folks, we seem to be at a standstill. Um, I just think that grow as much food as you can, grow as much fruit as you can. Um, it is it's an Isaiah, and Isaiah is a plant that doesn't need a male or female plant. It can produce on its own, and that's one of the main reasons why I got this plant. I bought it on eBay. He sent me a plant. It was a little tiny little plant. I think it was like $12. Good evening. It was like $12, and I got it home. Mistake to make is to try to put it in the ground initially. I grew it in a pot, and it got big, and it's beautiful viney plant. You put a stick in the center, let it grow up the stick. It'll outgrow that stick in no time flat. But you're waiting for the plant to get a little woody. Is what you're waiting for before it goes outside. But I tell you, Mr. Lead Farmer, you really need to put a video out and showing these people how to do, because there's not a good watermelon planting video out there. They won't tell you what they actually do. They'll just say, plant it in a hill, put it over here, some black plastic. Oh, look at the watermelon. But they don't show you. They don't say I use 10-10 fertilizer. I dig a hole that's approximately a foot and a half across, 8 inches deep, and I remove the soil, mix it with my soil mix, and then I put it back, and I grow the plants out indoors. I grow 3 to a pot, and I put them in the ground, and I'm all set. They don't do that. They will not do that because I've watched just about every video, even the guys who grow the giant watermelons online. I've watched them, and he'll say, "I grew this right here. We using sand," and pretty much he don't give you any detail. Um, there's one farmer that he's with his wife, and he only produced 2 videos. You may have seen it. He talks about crimson sweet, and he talks about another one I can't think of the name of. He grows tomatoes in containers, and the thing about it is, he got some of the prettiest melons you ever want to see. He's got them in raised beds. They grow in like a sandy soil, but he doesn't give you very much information. Okay, well, you did mention one thing. You keep it watered. And what most people don't do is with any of their plants water, because I like to go out like once a week and check and see what needs to be watered. Um, the the watering I use is my brew. You've seen my videos on the brew I make. It's basically weed and grass tea, and I thin it out 1 part to 10 parts water. And I do use a rainwater. Rainwater, just I have the luxury of having that rainwater. I don't want to use water from the house if I don't have to. But if that's all you have, and I was so happy and blessed this year, I got tons of fertilizer this year, tons of it. If I didn't even make those buys, I would still be able to grow what I grow because all I would do is just make 32 gallon of my tea, and that would be all I would need. But if I can find something that's a little bit more convenient, as long as it's priced right, I make it do what it do. I use rainwater. I use rainwater. Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. You lucky that you use nothing special at all for these watermelons. You just put the seeds out there and they do their own deal. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing though. Now you've heard the old saying, folks, uh, which is add your plant to a $10 hole in the ground. I changed that with myself. I add my plants to a $30 hole in the ground. That's what I do because some of us, with the heavy clay soils, we'll dig a hole that is not big enough. There's a tendency to do that. It's a bit, because roots can spread out, and also the average planting depth that roots will go at will be anywhere from 6 to 8 inches deep. 6 to 8 inches deep. So when you have that, you want to make certain that you have a hole that will accommodate that plant. So I've been doing, my own little research, and I've been doing it in a hole that was a foot and a half across. And the reason why I do that is because I want the plant to be able to branch out and do what it needs to do. It have all the room it needs. You can sometimes get plants, and folks, if you've seen it, where your plants are stumped, and you're sitting not knowing why, and you're fertilizing it. You're fertilizing it. You're watering it. It's got plenty of sun, but the plant is not growing. Plant won't move. Well, it's just like taking your foot that's a size 12 and trying to put it in a size 7 shoe. It doesn't work. You need to get two things when you dig a hole. You need to get a lot of air down into the soil. Oxygen is important, very important, just as crucial as water. And you also need enough room for those roots to go to spread out. Because if they don't have the room they need, guess what? You're gonna start noticing problems. It'll grow to a point, and it'll stop. And no, it's not hammer time, but it's gonna stop, and your plants will sit there, and you will try all summer watering them and fertilizing and trying to figure out what is wrong. Well, you put a tomato plant in a small hole. That will cause a problem. And that's how that works. So you want to make absolutely certain that you put your plants in a $30 hole. That's it. I'm going to leave that alone and let that soak in, because that is so crucial to get the oxygen down to those roots. I don't claim to know it all. I just know one thing. This is what I do. I live and breathe this stuff. I do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I wake up dealing with gardening. I go to sleep dealing with gardening. That is my passion. And I've given many people over the years, from my job to online, I've given them tons of information. Um, and I try to do what I can to get them started off on the right direction. So when I see people that are doing good from something, information I gave them, even if they don't even say thank you, I want them to know that um, it is a joy of mine to make sure certain that they can now eat some of the finest foods. Because if you grow something right, you can get the brick level up. You can get very dense, nutritious food. Not just grow a tomato, because anybody can grow a tomato. But if you grow a beautiful tomato that has the nutrients in it that are definitely uh, making you feel better and live longer, then it's well worth it. And on that note, folks, I'm going to head out of here, but thank you very much for tuning in. This has been The Morning Gardener. Thank you very much. Until next time.